A federal prosecutor said today a double murder at a Kentucky grocery store is being investigated as a possible hate crime.
A horrific scene in Charlottesville, Virginia, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence and chaos.
He wanted pain, he wanted hurt, he wanted blood. That's what he was after.
The number of hate crimes in the U.S. jumped again in 2017.
This uptick is really one that gives us and other civil rights organizations grave concern.
Up to 12 people were shot. We're hearing 8 are confirmed dead. 3 officers were also shot.
There are, of course, reports that he was saying anti-Jewish and anti-Semitic things as he went into that synagogue.
2 men were stabbed to death on a train Friday when they confronted a man who was yelling anti-Muslim slurs.
It is time for us to stop pretending that that racism doesn't exist.
And my guess is they're not documented. So my next call is to ICE to have each one of them kicked out of my country.
So he just kept on slouting. I'm not going to let Latinos take our community. We're not going to have illegals run this community.
We shouldn't have to protest because y'all are treating us wrong. We do this because we need to and have rights.
People should stand up for others and become activists so we can change the world for the better. If you are unhappy with what's going on, stand up for yourself and voice your opinion for your cause and make a change.
One of the reasons I think students should be activists is because I believe firmly, and Dr. King stated as much in his I Have a Dream speech, that our individual freedom is bound up in the freedom of others. And where there is injustice in American society, there's the possibility for injustice to be cast on any American in that society. So with our freedom being bound in each other's freedom, we then must work together to ensure the freedom and justice for everyone in our society.
It's important to remember that racism and racial segregation are still very much prevalent in the United States and even in our own community. For example, in the Bellevue School District, each of the Bellevue schools' racial demographics vary dramatically. And so I encourage you to just get involved in your community and get out there and help create change.
The worst thing about racism, in my opinion, is that you usually associate it with somebody going in and saying the N-word to a bunch of people, but racism is it's more than everything. It is a way of thinking for people. And if you're with a friend out somewhere, even if you're the only 2 people there and he says it, and he even makes a joke that just seems a little bit off, for all you know, that could be his or her way of thinking. And the only way to change people's way of thinking is you have to challenge that. All right, because that's how you have to keep talking about racism. That's why it's never going to get solved unless we keep doing that. So even if you are the only 2 people in the room, you have to call them out on that. You have to challenge that, or else you're just going to keep on going with that line of thought. That's what the most important thing about racism is, that it will only persist because people don't want to talk about it.
One of the things I'd like to impress upon my students and the students of Bellevue High School here as we celebrate Dr. King's birthday is the importance of participation and democracy. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It is very much participatory. And I would hope that as we consider Dr. King, his work, and the thousands of people that worked alongside him to change our society in the middle of the 20th century, that your participation is so vital to the changes needed at the beginning of the 21st century.
I think it's important to be active in your community because specifically in Bellevue, we've been given a very good education here that is on par with a lot of good preparatory schools in this country, and this is one of the top public schools in America. And I think it's fundamentally unfair to take this education that we've received and not do something with it to give back to a community that has given us so much. And that's one of the reasons why I've been active in my community since 8th grade, whether it was helping out with teacher strikes or doing whatever I needed to do in my mind to make Washington and this district better for everyone.
We've been exposed to a lot of examples of discrimination in our society, and yet we still ignore racism, not only in our country but in our school, and people get hurt by it. So simply acknowledging the fact that somebody is being discriminated against and speaking up about it is a step towards progressing in our society and a crucial one. So I ask you to please speak up.